spark of a moment.
Right.
Angel Reese is not, Angel Reese from a player-only perspective, is not that unique. There are better players than Angel Reese. There have been more dynamic players than Angel Reese. There are better players in the WNBA now than Angel Reese.
Angel Reese has quickly become one of the most talked about, and at times, controversial, figures in the WNBA. If you follow the league, you're probably aware of how much buzz surrounds any news about her. Recently, there's been a major development. The Chicago Sky, her team, made a significant roster move that could potentially lead to Reese's departure from the Windy City. Please don't forget to like the video and subscribe my channel for more awesome content. Thanks. At just 22 years old, Reese has already made a strong impact in her rookie season. She averaged over 13 points and 13 rebounds per game, leading the league in rebounds, an impressive achievement for someone just entering the pros. She was firmly in the running for Rookie of the Year, with her performance doing most of the talking. Unfortunately, a wrist injury cut her season short, sidelining her during the most crucial stretch of the year.
Unfortunate announcement out of Chicago. Angel Reese's rookie season is over. She took to social media to announce that unfortunately she suffered a season-ending injury. What a year. I would have never imagined the last bucket of my rookie season would be a 3, but maybe that was God saying, give them a taste of what they will be seeing more of in year 2. Now, following this announcement, Chicago would later release a statement that said the injury was in fact her wrist and it occurred in their September 6th game versus Los Angeles. So obviously unfortunate news. Monica, what comes to mind for you when you hear this about Angel Reese?
First thing, you wish her a speedy and healthy recovery. The rest of that announcement that she put out, she did say she hopes to be available and play in Unrivaled this coming WNBA offseason. But beyond that, I start thinking about that 8th spot that Chicago Sky and head coach Teresa Weatherspoon are fighting with.
Despite the setback, Angel Reese's move to Chicago has been far from quiet. Off the court, the 22-year-old has fully embraced the city's vibrant culture, transforming her apartment into a luxurious retreat and diving into everything the Windy City has to offer. But it's not all about the glitz and glamour. She's also been making her mark in media, launching her own podcast, Unapologetically Angel, even before her rookie season wrapped up.
Angel Reese, who's had a good year, by the way. Quick hitter number 3 goes to Chicago Sky rookie forward Angel Reese, who has a new weekly podcast called Unapologetically Angel. It's part of Playmakers Network of podcasts from Shaquille O'Neal. On the debut episode, co-host Maya Reese, who is Angel's cousin, asked her to address her feelings about rival Indiana Fever's Caitlin Clark and the Fever's fan base. Take a look at what Angel Reese had to say about that. Quote, Caitlin Clark fans, the Iowa fans, now the Indiana fans, I think there's a lot of racism when it comes to it, and I don't believe she stands on any of that. But when it comes to death threats, like, I'm talking about people who have come down to my address, following me home. Multiple occasions, people have made AI pictures of me naked, literally. They've sent it to my family members. It sucks to see that, and it's really hard that I have to go through that. End quote. If Angel Reese was older, I would have gotten on her about what she just said. Because I would have been like, how naive can you be?
From the very beginning, Angel Reese's podcast has been raw, unfiltered, and occasionally controversial. In her debut episode, she candidly discussed the death threats she received from Caitlin Clark's fans following their intense college basketball rivalry. She also shared that her family was targeted with AI-generated fake images, adding even more fuel to the fire. One thing is certain, Reese isn't afraid to speak her truth, whether it's on the court or behind the mic. But as her podcast gains popularity, it also attracts increasing scrutiny. The big question now is whether she can successfully juggle her rising media presence with her basketball career. For the moment, though, Angel Reese is clearly set on living life on her own terms, unapologetically.
I think so many people are watching women's basketball right now. It all started from the national championship game, and I've been dealing with this for 2 years now. And understanding, like, yeah, negative things have probably been said about me, but honestly, I'll take that because look where women's basketball is. People are talking about women's basketball that you never would think that we'd be talking about women's basketball. People are pulling up to games. We got celebrities coming to games, sold out arenas, like, just because of one single game. And just looking at that, like, I'll take that role. I'll take the bad guy role, and I'll continue to take that on and be that for my teammates. And if I want to be that, and I know I'll go down in history, I'll look back in 20 years and be like, yeah, the reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person. It's because of me too, and I want y'all to realize that. Like, it's not just because of one person. A lot of us have done so much for this game, and Kennedy has been here before, obviously, but there are so many great players in this league that have deserved this for a really, really long time, and luckily, it's coming now.
Following a strong season with the Chicago Sky, former LSU star Angel Reese decided to speak directly to her critics. In an Instagram post on October 14th, she sent a bold message to those who have taken issue with her fiery demeanor. Reese made it clear that she's unbothered by public opinion, declaring that she'll continue to secure her success and her paycheck, no matter the backlash. While the post drew praise and encouragement from many fans, not everyone was impressed. Critics questioned her character, with some even branding her as one of the most unlikable athletes in the sport.
Reese, you had a decisive advantage because they made the mistake of letting you know who they are, whoever those people are. And now you have perfect justification for keeping people at bay and not letting people too close where they could potentially hurt you. It's something most people usually learn when they get older. You learned it younger, which is a beautiful, beautiful thing. You're at an advantage. As for the Caitlin Clark fans she was alluding to, she ain't lying. It's not all, it's not most. A lot of them are fun-loving. A lot of them are great fans. A lot of them are great, great people. But some of them are racist. Some of them don't want Angel Reese to be the one coming at her, and they use ethnicity as the rationale behind it. Again, very few.
Despite the criticism, Angel Reese remains unfazed, fully embracing her reputation as a polarizing figure in the WNBA. She's clearly aware of the spotlight her bold personality brings, and there's no denying she's one of the most talked about players in the league. Perhaps that was her plan all along.
We watch it, right? When Caitlin did it, she was playing against Louisville, was 3 games ago, mind you. She's going to her side, she does it for like 3 seconds and goes to her bench, right? Compared to you watch the Angel, she's like chasing her down. You can watch the video, because I'm a trash talker. I love to talk trash.
You do be talking trash.
At the free throw line, she's doing it, trying to get her attention. Then when they win, or they're about to win, she's like chasing her down and kept going back and forth. So I just felt like she was trying to gain like some attention, not from just the world, but maybe from her. And I think as a trash talker, who I've been my whole life, I go back to, why do people talk trash? One, because, hey, I'm just a dog, I'm a competitor, right? And you're a top player, Caitlin's probably the top player, Angel's probably second. And either one is, I'm a trash talker with competitive nature, and the other part is disrespect. Disrespect is in, yo, everywhere I turn, they talking about Caitlin Clark. What about LSU? We nice, I'm this, I'm that. Because Angel, she won player of the tournament, right? So as a player, I feel like, hold up, you disrespect me, you keep talking about her, you need to talk about me. So then when she got the chance and they beat her and she's kept, saying I don't see you and all that, I think that was part of, I've been disrespected this whole tournament, you're not giving me the love. So I love that part of it, I just don't like how, people are trying to carry it. Like, she came towards Caitlin compared to Caitlin when she was just quick and went to the bench.
Beyond all the social media drama, the rivalry between Angel Reese and fellow rookie standout Caitlin Clark has remained just as intense and compelling. Their competitive tension began during their NCAA days, when Reese made headlines for taunting Clark after LSU's win over Iowa in the national championship. Now, in their rookie WNBA season, that rivalry has continued, with Reese's Chicago Sky and Clark's Indiana Fever clashing both on the court and in the Rookie of the Year conversation.
What Caitlin is doing, captivating the crowds, this is something that's going to go on for a long time between these two. 25 and 15, 16 rebounds. What was it? 15, 16 rebounds from a rookie, 8 straight double-doubles. If she continues at this pace, I'm not saying she's going to continue to put up the scoring, but I can really see a situation to where it could be up for grabs for Rookie of the Year or even a co-Rookie of the Year, because don't take nothing short of what Caitlin's doing with her passing. I mean, she probably should have had 20 assists last night. I mean, some of those drop passes she was throwing, so I love what I'm seeing. I'm captivated. I wish these two could have been on the USA team, but we'll get to that. All right. I mean, I was very impressed with the game last night, especially with the Sky being down, coming all the way back, pulling out the win.
In the end, it was Caitlin Clark who claimed the Rookie of the Year title. Since then, some have suggested that Angel Reese could learn from Clark's approach to her public image. Unlike Reese's bold and outspoken style, Clark has maintained a more reserved and traditional demeanor off the court. This contrast has sparked frequent comparisons, with critics urging Reese to dial back her behavior and adopt a more low-key presence like her WNBA counterpart. However, many observers note that this rivalry seems to be more about clashing personalities than on-court performance.
It's a rivalry. I want to agree with you so badly, Mom. Yeah. I don't think it's a rivalry because to me,
you think they really like each other?
I don't think
she downplayed it.
I don't think they care as much about it, to be honest, as everybody else does. Like, I think Caitlyn's fans care more about it, and I think Angel's fans care more about it than they actually do themselves. Like, if you really want a rivalry in terms of basketball and two players at the top of their game that have won MVPs and have won championships, and you're tuning in for that animosity in terms of competing on the court, it's A'ja Wilson and Breanna Stewart. That's the best rivalry in sports right now. There's not one in any other sport.
The layman's W fan is tuning in for that.
Tuning in for Caitlyn and that's why we're trying to get.
I get late to the party.
Right.
I get it, but you get what I'm saying.
But if you're tuning in for the rivalry, you're tuning in for Caitlyn and Angel in terms of a rivalry of personalities, and that's what you're tuning in.
The rivalry of personalities. That's where I was going to my the rivalry of personalities. We're talking basketball.
It's not a rivalry of performance.
A rivalry of performance. No, that's not the case here. Yep. That's not the case at all. It's a rivalry of personalities because Angel Reese made it so when she went at Caitlin Clark. Yep. Yeah, LSU, we a little bit different. You could try that nonsense with everybody else. Try it this way, how I feel now. And she rubbed it in her face and ticked off half of America, for crying out loud, which I loved because that's what it's about. But again, for example, if you looked at Isaiah Thomas and a Michael Jordan, even though Michael Jordan was a two guard and Isaiah Thomas was a point guard, they had the ball in their hands.
Yeah,
that's entire. When you think about Kareem, you're thinking about Ewing and Olajuwon and people like that. Yeah. You're not thinking about or Will Chamberlain, obviously. You're not thinking about comparing a center to a guard.
I don't know, but to me, it's like I don't know if they like.
That's not how good.
I don't know if they actually like each other. But the thing that's funny for me is even when we talk about a rivalry of personalities, there's similarities between them. They're both going to talk trash. They're both going to be animated when they do something great. They're both competitive. They're both so it's pick a side in terms of which personality.
Clark tied in the WNBA, leading the league.
Whether the rivalry between Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark continues into next season remains uncertain, as reports suggest Reese may be unhappy with her current situation in Chicago. Midway through the season, the Sky made headlines by parting ways with head coach Teresa Weatherspoon after just 1 year at the helm. The move came as a shock to many fans, especially given the strong relationship Weatherspoon had built with her players. Despite a disappointing 13-27 record and missing the playoffs, some believe the decision to let her go was premature, raising questions about the team's direction and Reese's future with the franchise.
Those decisions made where you kind of have to step back and immediately start asking bigger picture questions about a front office. I think there's a lot of reasons that you can understand this decision in an absolute vacuum, like if you just look at one day in the life of a team. But when you look at the decision making over the last year, hiring a GM after Weatherspoon, giving her less than a year in the position, the Kalia Copper trade, the Marina Mabry trade, there's just so many pieces that don't really add up to this being a functional year where you could really determine if a coach is ready to be a WNBA head coach or not.
Yeah, as someone who covers the Washington football franchise in my day job, I know bad ownership. And there have been a lot of people that have asked out of Chicago, including, by the way, one of the most recent, I can't remember whether, I guess there had to be an interim between James Wade and T. Spoon, but like he wanted out. He left in the middle of a season. You don't do that as a coach. That's not a thing. And it certainly seems like that's the one constant here. Is it an ownership problem on down in terms of the vision? Is it the new front office? Like, how do you ascribe some of those bigger picture problems here?
Yeah, I think the Wade decision was definitely wholly separate. I think that's kind of an easier one to compartmentalize into one person making a decision for themselves. The interim coach was not asked back. So, those are kind of two very separate head coaching determinations that occurred there. I think the main issue here is that you still have an ownership group deeply in flux. We've seen this ownership group make some really big strides forward, the training complex being the main part of that. But when you look at the actual front office decisions that are being made in terms of how this team is being run, I just still do not think that ownership really understands what they want this team to look like. And that's a huge concern. I think there's a lot of reasons that other departures have happened, but just the baseline of not having still a team tactical identity is just like, you just can't attract players and keep players that way.
However, from the Sky organization's perspective, the results made the decision clear. The team's goal is to consistently compete for the playoffs and championship, and by those standards, changes were necessary. Teresa Weatherspoon's departure was likely driven by the team's underwhelming performance, as the franchise now looks to rebuild and bring in a coach who can elevate the team's level of play and help them reach their full potential.
Scouting, you're putting together game plans. This was a coach who was learning on the fly, and every player that we heard from Friday said that in some way or another. If they're a big Spoon defender, they were like, it's a big learning curve. We know she learned with us a lot this year, but she got there. For the folks that were veterans, especially for the older players, there was visible concern about the fact that she just did not fully have a grasp on how to do things up until the Olympic break. They were installing a completely different offensive scheme over the Olympic break. So it really is about the tactics. And I think if this front office and the new general manager, Jeff Pagliocca, if he looked at the end of the season, sat down and was like, we need a coach who is experienced, who has the preparation, because that's how you get free agents. That's who a vet free agent wants to play for. If those are all the things that they decided they needed in a coach, that's totally fair, but don't hire her. That's the whole thing. Don't hire her a year ago if that's who you wanted out of a coach. I think it's totally fair for them to want that experience, but that's not who they hired a year ago, and I don't know why they would have expected her to become that now.
Angel Reese was open and emotional about Teresa Weatherspoon's firing, sharing her feelings on social media. She described Weatherspoon as an unsung hero in her life and emphasized that the situation was about much more than basketball. It was deeply personal. Reese credited Weatherspoon for being the key reason she chose to join Chicago and expressed heartfelt thanks for the coach's support and belief in her during a crucial stage of her career.
Private when it comes to things like that. I leave my conversation with my players. They have their little booklet of what they need to do, what we see, and we had a conversation about it today, and I think they're on board with that. I know those are the little things that we put in place for them. So I think that it's something they got to be able to see, put your eyes on what we're asking, and then going and getting it done. And it'll better you as you progress during the off season to bring to season.
Mm-hmm. And then just one other question I got for you, Spoon, is going off on what Mike was saying a little bit. Given your status in this league, from where you were as a player to where you are now, and you're seeing such the rapid growth and popularity of the league, especially with players like Angel and Camila, what does it mean for you to be in this position to be a coach of two of the most high-profile players in the league and to see the league grow in popularity as it is now?
It's always great to be a part of something like this. It's always great to be a part of anything when you're talking about the W, and I say that respectfully. It's just a great thing to be a part of, but when you're part of two young people who's growing in this game and you know that they're going to be great at what they do, it's huge. But like we were talking, it's about also studying those things as well, of how it can make it better for them as they continue to grow in this league. That's the most important piece for me as their coach, is not to be happy just to coach them and see their greatness, but how do I pull that greatness out all the time? So it's a lot that has to come from me as well, as I'm working, as I'm getting better, to make sure I step in and help them to be better.
Weatherspoon's departure clearly had a deep impact on Angel Reese, who made it clear that their connection went far beyond the basketball court. Reese praised how Weatherspoon stood by her through every challenge, offering guidance when she needed it most. Her heartfelt tribute quickly went viral, garnering millions of views and sparking mixed reactions. Some fans showed sympathy, while others questioned the emotional display. Amid all this, speculation is swirling that Reese might leave Chicago. Considering she said Weatherspoon was a major reason she joined the Sky, many wonder if she'll seek a fresh start elsewhere. Though Reese has remained tight-lipped about her future, whether that means joining another WNBA team or exploring overseas opportunities, the possibilities are wide open. Meanwhile, some fans argue she should stay loyal to the Sky, as they were the ones who drafted her, not Weatherspoon. The big question now is, how will this shake up the WNBA? Will Reese's next team be ready for her intense style of play and outspoken off-court personality? And can she continue to prove her critics wrong, rising even higher in the league? Despite the off-court drama, Reese's on-court performance this season was nothing short of impressive. She consistently posted double-doubles, setting the rookie record with 24 and maintaining a 15-game double-double streak, the longest in WNBA history. Although the Sky's season ended in disappointment, the future looks promising with Reese leading the way. Only time will tell if she stays in Chicago or finds a new home. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. Thanks for watching.